Okay, we are back for the lunchtime on the last day of phase 3 of the Undercover Policing Inquiry. We've been listening to what can only describe as the non-evidence of Trevor Butler, who was a former manager of the Special Demonstration Squad. I'm joined with Donal Driscoll from the Undercover Research Group and Bethany Rielly from Morning Star. What do you make of it?
Well, it's another frustrating one because, like you said, he's giving a lot of one-word answers. Yes, no, I can't recall. He's been called out a few times on saying that he is, very certain that he doesn't recall certain things, or that something definitely didn't happen in his mind, but then not really being able to kind of back up why.
It's amazing he's got the stamina to repeat the same 3 lines over and over again. It's quite exhausting just listening to him. But another manager doesn't seem to have done any managing whatsoever. And he's been pointed to stuff in his own statement, and he's essentially going, I don't know, I didn't do it, I don't know, I can't remember. We were having a game of predict the response and winning every time. Is that painful?
It is draining, actually.
Yeah, you can see that Mitting is not happy with him. Mitting, it's like you're taking the piss out of the judge at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he really was taking the piss. I mean, there was one point where he was asked about one of the reports that was shown that with him having meetings with the security services, which he didn't remember anything of. It said that he was asked, was it your understanding that they still wanted a undercover officer inside the headquarters of the Socialist Workers' Party? He said, I don't remember that group. Like, you don't remember the SWP? Like, fuck off. Like, fuck off. There was also the thing about Barry Tompkins' inappropriate relationship with a young woman, which Barry Tompkins, when he had this HN307, when giving his evidence in the last tranche, or tranche 4, I can't remember, said that he spoke to Trevor Butler about the incident, and Trevor Butler said, you're not going to get us into trouble, are you? To which, this was, like, he didn't remember this. He remembered that it definitely didn't happen. It definitely did not happen. None of that happened. And when asked on it, he said, well, that's hypothetical because it didn't happen. And it's just like, come on.
Yeah, and that was one of the interesting moments because you actually saw the inquiry pushing back and going. You could see that they were struggling with this, and it was you see it quite often with these cops. No, can't remember. And then just like no, that definitely didn't happen. It's like, as soon as you start touching on their reputation or thing, or you challenging them in that way, they are suddenly able to be definitive, and it really shows them up.
And we had sort of Barr as well, the counsel to the inquiry, tried to call him out on something where he directly asked, did you just consider women activists to be wary? And I think he was kind of hoping that that Trevor Butler would be caught out by that and sort of say yes or no, but then he sort of took a second and was like, I don't know what you mean by that phrase.
Well, he did give away another points that there was banter going on and it was sexist, although he backed off from the jokes. He had every now and again he started slipping up and giving stuff away, but then he pulled back. So you are getting those little bits out, but it's blood from a stone, really.
It does just seem absolutely incredible, though, that he led this unit and took over from people who previously then pulled out one officer for falling in love with an activist and then getting married to her, and he has no recollection of that whatsoever. Also of Vince Harvey, another activist, just saying he doesn't recall any of that happening or wasn't told about it. It's just not feasible.
Yeah. What was he actually doing when he was in this unit? Like, because he doesn't appear like he did anything at all.
You just got this pattern of we just went in and did what everybody else was doing and went on, and nobody at any point is just going, this is what we are, this is what's going on.
We're also joined off screen by Alison. That's the screen by there, so you have to walk around. That's the video, yes.
I really want to say one thing, because again I want to go and get lunch, but one thing I want to say to people who are only listening to it, these men, all of them, I don't mean they're physically fit.
Mm.
They're physically fit, and they really, they're you know, when they want to be, they're mentally competent. It's not people who are like doddery. It's quite important to say that. I think they are not doddery, old, frail. Even Roy Creamer, who was like 93, looked quite fit. But I mean, their memories aren't. It's just not credible that they can't remember anything. And the thing is as well about like memory when you get older, when you're in your 80s. The memories that are in the past, it's been described to me like as a metaphor, like a bookshelf. If you think of a bookshelf, and when you get older, sometimes the books at the top, if your bookshelf wobbles, the books at the top are the ones that are going to fall off. And they're the most recent memories. And those ones that are further down and further away are the ones that are quite stuck in place. So this idea that they cannot remember anything is so nonsensical that, you know, we were just talking before about, it feels like contempt of the court. I mean, I know it's not that framework, but it's contemptuous. That's what I feel, that, you know, it makes me very cross because I think David Barr is doing very well, actually. I think he's, I don't know what you've been thinking about saying.
Yeah, no, I think we got the same feeling that, you know, Dave's been stepping up and, you know, professionally, just to face that and be taken for a ride is going to rankle.
But also the thing about, I heard you just say, the thing about the wearies. That thing about the wearies, I just thought that was an indication to me of how sharp he is.
Yeah.
Because he came back straight away, weary, sorry, what's that? So this idea that he can't remember, I don't believe that. Anyway, I'm going to get lunch.
Yeah, I really don't feel we got much from this morning's proceedings at all. I don't envisage we're going to get that much from this afternoon. He's a particularly odious character. I mean, like Alison just said, is, you know, more so than the others, he's obviously like quite fit and healthy, and you know, like it is not credible at all that he doesn't remember this stuff. And yeah, he is taking the piss out of the inquiry. Yeah.
And it's interesting when you say no that often, when you are shown something, or you make that declarative statement, it shows how easy it is to actually trip up. You know, it's very hard for them to maintain that. One of the few other interesting things that wasn't actually from him, but came from the evidence, was the inquiries picked up on the fact that they moved an undercover specifically to Brixton in the wake of the Brixton riots. And that undercover helped set up a local Socialist Worker Party branch, became his treasurer. You know, it's just they were moving around and they were trying to, you know, suddenly get somebody in among that. In this case, they thought the SWP might do it. And there was another, I think it's quite a fascinating case, the Winston Rose came up. He was a black man murdered in North London in the early 80s. I haven't looked much into the story, but one of the things that stood out is his death mirrors George Floyd's in the way it happened in his custody. Somebody sitting on his neck, basically choking him. It's a horrific story. You know, the police even said the ambulance couldn't come in to resuscitate him. It's blatant murder, and yet again we have, you know, the undercover police going in and spying on them, presumably because they're anti-police.
Yeah.
I mean, interestingly on that, he was willing to be drawn on that it was entirely appropriate to spy on the meeting about that, the founding meeting of the campaign, just to call for a public inquiry. You know, this is what the campaign meeting was about. It was wholly appropriate and a fine report.
That's right, yeah, it was a fine report.
Really?
I think because one of the speakers suggested that we shouldn't have police reform, we should have police destruction, and he interpreted that as being like instigating violence against the police. But it's not, it's a call for abolition, and citizens are allowed to believe in these things in a democratic society. So again, there's just no understanding of people who hold different views from the state are allowed to believe and campaign for those things without being spied on.
But also taking those words and we'll just twist those words to suit our context to justify, rather than actually going, we need a wholesale reform of what's essentially a non-checked murder gang called the Metropolitan Police.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know there's much else to say really about the evidence day. It's been so thin. And we were back this afternoon. I can't imagine it's going to be more than one session this afternoon, because I get the impression Bar's rattled through what he had. And even at one point he said, I've got a lot more documents of meetings you were at, but if you're going to claim to say you don't remember any of it, there's no point in showing it. To which, Butler was like, I don't remember, so he just moved on. So, it's I would imagine it's going to be a short session this afternoon, but we'll be back with a reaction then. There's also doing a Twitter space at 7 o'clock this evening, looking at today's evidence, but also the last 2 weeks, because it's the last day today. And it'll be the last day for like 2 years, the hearings of the inquiry. So we're back with that later, but thanks for joining us for now.